Today is World Teachers' Day commemoration, and this year's event is marked by an increased global concern about the scale and impact of the teacher shortage around the world. Today, teachers are overworked, undervalued and underpaid, and more are forced to leave the profession they love, of course, and the world needs them. Mugwena Maluleke is the Secretary General of the South African Democratic Teachers Union, SADTU, and he joins us now to commemorate World Teachers' Day. Thank you so much, Mr. Maluleke, for joining me this morning. Of course, it is World Teachers' Day. Many would say not a lot to celebrate here in South Africa, but what is your perception when it comes to celebrating something like this? And do you think it is necessary for us to still celebrate our teachers here in South Africa?
Thank you very much, and then greetings to your viewers at home. Indeed, when is a day for celebration, we have got to celebrate the resilience. We have to celebrate the wisdom and the knowledge that the teachers of our country have. Despite all the challenges, despite all the problems that they have to face on a daily basis, however, they are the first to have hope, the first to have faith in our children, to help our children to realize their dreams, and therefore they deserve to be respected, they deserve to be valued, and therefore they deserve to be celebrated.
Now, of course, the challenges, let's talk about that. What would you say are some of the main challenges that teachers face in this country at the moment?
At home, the teachers are facing violence in our schools, and that's the first killer of any motivation, of any passion. To be faced with a grade 2 learner at 7 or 8 years old who faces the teacher and really abuse the teacher. That is what we are facing today. The other challenges that we are facing clearly is the overcrowding in our rural schools and the township schools because of the number of learners that are really exceeding the classroom sizes that have been built during the era of apartheid, and therefore we need to be able to address those particular challenges. The others, clearly, it is the fact that we don't have psychosocial services when we are faced with this particular mental problem, especially after the COVID pandemic. Teachers are really struggling in terms of stress, in terms of anxiety, and mental health as a whole. It's not something that has been discussed, and therefore they are suffering from. And this, unfortunately, is going to impact on the quality of teaching, the quality of learning in our classroom. And we need to be able to attend to these things, because these are the three killers I see today that are impacting on our work as teachers.
Now, of course, you talk about the mental issues when it comes to being a teacher nowadays in South Africa, being in the classroom. It does come with its own pressures and stress, like you just mentioned. How then do we make sure that our teachers are valued, they are being taken care of? What is it that we can do as a country, as the government? What can they do to make sure that our teachers are being taken care of? Because we also know that the salaries aren't really appealing, and a lot more, matriculants, after they're done with matric, they need to decide what they're going to study. They don't choose teaching as an option anymore.
Well, many of our young people don't see teaching as an option anymore, precisely because of a number of problems. One is the one that I've already mentioned: violence in our schools. The teachers feel they're not protected, they're not safe, and therefore we need to make sure that the environment is conducive, the environment is safe. And the first thing that we've got to do is to make sure that we bring back the parents in our schools to working together with our teachers and our management on a daily basis to ensure that really we can give these children the future they deserve. And to me, it's fundamental to have parental involvement, because basically instill in the learners that particular duty for them to love education, to love their studies, and be able to learn, knowing very well that they're being loved, they're being cared for by their parents and by their teachers. We need to do that. We need to improve the salaries of our teachers on an annual basis in order for us to be able to attract the young people to join teaching. But also we need to ensure that those who are remaining in teaching, because these are the ones that are really suffering in terms of the progress that they've got to make sure that there's career pathing, make sure that there is the professional development, because teachers are not only looking for money, but they're also looking for them to be empowered, to be developed, so that they are able to deal with the challenges of today.
And Ms. Maluleke, of course, you spoke about the violence at schools as well. We see many cases where schools are having to, be closed for weeks on end just to make sure that everyone is safe, the pupils are safe, the teachers are safe, and so that there can be investigations going into the certain criminal activities going on at schools and whatever the individual cases might be at these schools. This, of course, disrupts the whole system, the ecosystem of teaching and learning. So how do we make sure that violence is curbed in all our schools across the provinces, especially the ones where we see these criminal activities a lot more?
That's a very important question for all of us, basically, as a society in South Africa. It is that we need to take education very seriously, all of us. If we can then work together as a society and say, education to our children is a duty. It is how we pay our debts to those who really struggle to bring us to where we are today in terms of this freedom and democracy, that today our children are enjoying a free education. They are enjoying the rights that they would have not enjoyed. And therefore, that to me is a duty that our children have got to pay that particular debt to their parents, to their societies and their communities. We have got to root out this silo mentality of not working together, that the churches are not working with the schools, that the business around the schools is not working with the school, that the parents themselves are not working with the school. We can be able to root out criminality activities that are happening around the schools, inside the schools, in terms of drugs, in terms of substance abuses. We can do that if we work together with the CPFs, if we work with the parents, we work with the clubs that are there in terms of sports and many other things. So I think that we can be able to root out violence and making sure that the schools are safe havens for our children.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Maluleke, of course, just, giving us his opinion there on the problems our teachers face in this country and what we can do to eliminate some of these problems like violence and, of course, making teaching also more appealing to the younger generation so that we can have better teachers, and to raise the next generation of leaders and workers of our communities. Of course, he says that it's a collaborative effort as well from many different people and many different stakeholders also involved in making sure that our teachers are being taken care of at the end of the day as well.